All right, we're going to continue our study on dating. Like I said in our text message, I think this is going to be the second most important layer in our brick wall. Second most important thing to observe in a person's life. Do you guys remember what the first most important thing to look for in a person's life is? Not fear, but not serve. Okay, I'll give it the love. I'll give it love. But if the spiritual life, or if Jesus is the Lord of their life, that's the most important thing, looking at their spiritual life. And if you look at your wall here, you'll notice that's the foundation. And so we've talked about all these other layers except two right here in the middle. And so we're going to get into that. But first, I want to just share some statistics with you. These statistics are divorce statistics. Would anyone like to have a divorce? Only? All right. Good, good. So a couple of countries, China, the United States, and France, they all have a divorce rate. Anyone want to take a guess? What do you think it is? 20%? Higher than 20%. It's actually 50%. Think about that. 1 out of every 2 marriages will end in a divorce in those countries. Half. Isn't that crazy? The country with the highest divorce rate is actually Russia, with a 75% divorce rate. How scary is that? 3 out of 4 marriages end in divorce in Russia. Well, moving over to our Africa continent, South Africa, 1 out of 5 marriages divorced, so that's 20%. So that's a little bit better. Still, that's not good. And Namibia, the statistics that I found were not very good. So the ones that I found, I don't even know if they're very reliable, but it's about 1 out of 6. It's about the same. All right? 1 out of 6, about 20% as well. And you know, divorce, it's one of the most painful things a person can experience. Very painful. It's bad for the children. It's bad for the husband and the wife. I mean, it's just terrible. And what's interesting about divorce is that, I mean, God even hates divorce. If we look at Malachi 2:16, for I hate divorce. To divorce your wife is to overwhelm her with cruelty. It's hard on the ladies, it's hard on the children, it's hard on the guys. And, you know, if we even just kind of do something here, at one point in their life, a person just loves, right? I mean, they want to get married, they make a commitment, they want to spend the rest of their life together, right? They love each other so much. But then when they go through a divorce, all of that turns into just hate. They want to try and hurt the other person as much as they possibly can, isn't it? They move from this huge point of loving each other and move all the way to trying to hurt them the most, getting lawyers, taking as much money and possessions and children as they can, isn't it? And so just a question. How is this possible? Why does this happen? You can grab a paper. Welcome. There's a pen there also. Why is it that divorce happens? Now, one thing just to point out, those statistics that I shared with you, they prove one thing. Can you change a person? No, if you could change a person, wouldn't this divorce rate be much smaller? Right? No? Can you change a person? Yeah. Because some people believe that, no, oh, if I just marry them, then they'll change. You know, look, Mike, your brick wall has too many bricks. I'll never find someone like that. But if we just get married, then I'll change them. I'll make them have these characteristics in their life. Some people believe that. Is it true? You say yes. You missed out on the statistics. 50% of marriages end in a divorce in China, US, and France. 50%. Russia has a 75% divorce rate. So if you could change people, why are there so many divorces? And I think that statistic proves that you cannot change a person. So once again, this is what I think the second most important message is. Why do so many marriages end in divorce? Is because of these two layers of bricks we're going to talk about today. A person's emotional life. Right? In our picture here, people, they fall in love to the point where they decide, I'm going to make a commitment to spend the rest of my life with you. And then when they get the divorce, they move all the way to the other side of hate. Here in Namibia, right, we have a problem with guys who will even kill girlfriends, right? How do they move their emotions so much from love to even the point of murder? And so it's a very important layer, very important things to observe in a person's life before you decide to get even involved in a dating relationship. Now, once again, I don't want you guys to get hurt. That's why we're going through this study. I want you guys to have a spouse who will love you, who will bring your home full of joy, peaceful, patient, kind to you, good, faithful, gentle, and self-control, right? We all desire that, isn't it? We all desire that. But what happens with their emotions? People they'll jump right into a relationship. And they'll forget about these other bricks that we've been talking about. And they'll jump right into a relationship. In a verse here, Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 4. Once they get involved in that dating relationship, they start to awaken love. They start spending more time together. They start talking to each other more and more. And the closer that the more time they talk to each other, they fall in love with each other. And what's true in a dating relationship is that both the guy and the girl, they try to impress each other. They don't act the real way. And so the guy tries to impress her and she tries to impress him. And at the end of 2 years of dating, they don't even know really what kind of person there really is, because they're just acting, trying to impress each other. So then those people, they'll come up and then they'll ask me, hey, Mike, I think we want to get married. What do you think? And Mike will come and bring up this brick wall illustration. And I'm just going to use logic, right? I'm just going to ask them questions about this brick wall. Hey, well, does the person love God with all their heart and soul and mind? Is God clearly first in their life, even before their family? And they'll say, Mike, nobody does that. Don't put that burden on us. Oh, okay. All right. And the emotions start to come out a little bit. Now they're even getting a bit angry with you. Well, what about, do they talk to others about Jesus? Do they share their faith? No. It's not that big of a deal, no? Well, how do they talk? Does the person talk like Jesus? What kind of, jokes do they say? What, just tell me about the way that they talk. How about, who are their friends? Tell me about their friends. What kind of friends do they hang out with? Oh, well, he just mainly goes to the bars and those are his main friends. And we go through each of these bricks. And the more that I observe and I just asking logical questions, right? Isn't this pretty logical? Just to ask these questions and see if the person has these in their life, right? And the person just starts to get angry with me because they realize there's a lot of holes in this wall. This person is not measuring up. And I say, maybe you should just wait. Just wait until they get more mature. Protect yourself. Don't make any quick decisions. And you know what happens? Here's what happens. Happens is this person, sorry. This person lets their emotions cover up this whole brick wall. And they just say, you know what? We're in love. We love each other. We'll make it work. Mike, thanks for the advice. We're getting married anyway. Isn't it? And you see, where's their wall? Their wall is just their emotions. They love each other. And the problem is, they completely overlook logic. They completely overlook, they let their emotions overrule everything else. And so they get married, and now there's no more faking it, right? There's no more trying to impress each other. Now you get to the real person, and you're not impressed. And within a couple of weeks or a couple months, these divorce rates just get higher and higher, 50% to 60%, and you become a statistic. Once again, I don't want that, but are you following the logic here of how our emotions, we have to be careful. We tackle, we have to be careful. And so I just want to list even a couple of things, we have to be careful. Because our emotions can be so strong to the point where we even believe some dangerous things. For example, I've heard this one before. We talked about it earlier. No, I will change him or her in our marriage. The divorce statistics show us people don't change, right? Do we agree on that? There's no way you can change someone. Only God can change them. How about the next one? No, if we just have sex, then he'll love me. And then she'll love me. And then everything will be fine. Or how about, no, if I just have his child, I have his baby, then he will marry me. Then he'll love me. Now, I'm just going to use logic to answer some of these lies, these dangerous things people believe. If you believe that if you just have his baby, then he'll marry you, just go ask some of these men walking around with a baby on their back. Where's the title? And while you're at it, even ask them if they even support you. Do they even give you money? Do they give the baby money? You guys know the answer to that? 90% no. There's even a whole ministry in the Namibian government that's called Devoted to Child Welfare, because this is such a problem in this country. Guys don't pay. The government even formed a whole part of the government to help women, assist them in this area. So please protect yourself from those lies. All right? Protect yourself. But once again, we're just going to use logic instead of emotions. Our emotions can blind us. And so we have to be very careful. Emotions, they are good. God made us emotional. But there is a point where our emotions can also blind us to reality. So with that, let's jump into some of these bricks. And in order to kind of see how emotional a person is, we also have to look at this other layer of bricks. We have to look at their social life as well. Because, and you'll see why, they go hand in hand. But let's start talking about some of these emotional layers. So the first one, is there signs of, let's just type in here, emotional immaturity. Emotional immaturity. And here we have some examples of that. Okay. Oh, I think I'm getting ahead of my notes here. Let's look at a verse here. All right. Proverbs 21, verse 19. Dalton, can you just read this verse for us, please? You're laughing.
Proverbs 21. Better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome lady.
Oh my. Oh my. Well, let's interpret this. Living alone where? Tell me about a desert. We live here in a desert, but just tell me, let's describe that so we can see how bad it would be to have and this goes both ways. Don't just, ladies, don't take offense, but it's the same way if you have a husband that. So what is it like living in a desert? Yeah, lack of water. It's hot. It's sand, it's windy, it gets in your eyes. It's silent. There's snakes and scorpions. It's dangerous. How about at night? It's cold. Oh, it's so cold, right? So it's hot at night, it's cold. Is there lots of food though in the desert? It's hard to even grow food, so you're hungry. But there's lots of water. There's no rain. So there's no food, no water, it's hot, it's cold, it's windy, it's dangerous with snakes and scorpions. It's better to live there than with what? You see the emotions? Quarrelsome, complaining. Those quarrelsome and complaining come from this root of emotions. And you'll see, I put that here on your, if you brought your papers, just write that in there. Because quarrelsome and complaining, that's dealing with other people, right? But ultimately, it comes from the root of their emotions. Comes from the root of their emotions. So this first example here, overly sensitive. This is a sign of emotional immaturity. That's someone who's not mature. And so these are things that you just want to look for. And I got some examples here. Right? We'd like to play games together, isn't it? We just got together, had some fun this past Saturday. An overly sensitive person, maybe they would cry after they lose a game. Is that appropriate to cry after just losing one of these fun games that we play? Yeah. That's right. That should be a little bit of a warning, like we're just having fun. I mean, sure, you didn't perform well, but you don't need to cry. Right? A little sensitive. How about another example? If they break a nail, here's a paper if you want a paper. Right? And if you break a nail, is that okay? How do they handle jokes? You know, one thing at game nights, I like to throw water at people. You know that, right? Right, Yvonne? Yeah. and I do it in fun, right? It's a joke, right? It's just we're having fun. But now, would a emotional person handle it? Would they, oh, what are you doing? They start yelling. What? And now I demand an apology. Why would you dare do that to me? What? Going home. I'm leaving. I'm out. You're right. I'm gone. Huh? And they what? And they would just leave. Sure. Yeah, that's here too. The emotions can even lead to violence or danger, which, remember, this layer of bricks we talked about last week, the physical. You're right. And that's why I think the emotions, we really have to be careful and watch and observe to see. How does a person handle a game when the other team cheats? Do they get angry? They start yelling. Why what you guys? What? Or do they throw things at them, get violent, like no? Sure. How do they handle losing? How do they handle winning? And you see, you can learn a lot about a person's emotions from some of those games, right? What happens when they don't perform well? Do they beat themselves up? When they play charades and they only get one word? One man, you got, or they blame the team members. They blame them. You guys, why are you on my team? So you see, these are just some examples of a little bit of oversensitivity, right? Here's another story for you, just to help us continue to think about this, okay? A guy, he left his phone in his room. He decided to go for a walk and just pray. Well, he was out for about 10 minutes, and when he returned, he found 3 SMSs and 3 phone calls from his girlfriend. The first SMS from the girlfriend said this: "How are you?" The second SMS from the girlfriend said, "Why are you not answering?" The third SMS, "Did I do something wrong? Are you with another girl?" Followed by 3 consecutive phone calls. What does that tell you about the girl's emotional life? They're immature. How so?
Overly sensitive. Is it anger?
They're oversensitive. She lacks trust. She lacks trust, and that's 100% true. Now remember our Galatians verse, this verse at the top of our page here. One of the fruits that we want is them should trust you. Now, if there's no trust, can you see how this affects their emotional life? Now, he was only gone for 10 minutes. Imagine if it was 30 minutes. Or exactly 2 days. If she's already thinking you're cheating with another lady after 10 minutes, what will happen when you get married and you're gone for the weekend for work? When you go to the village for a week to visit your family? No network? The battery runs flat? Now, unfortunately, isn't that a pretty common story? Has anyone heard that story? Elaine, many times. Many times. Many times. All right. Well, very good. Would you like someone who gets easily angered? You know, ladies, now there's a big problem here in Namibia where guys like to beat women. Their anger overflows to their physical life. They get violent, dangerous. Would you like to have a man, your husband, beat you? Or would you rather have a husband who's patient with you, who's peaceful, who's kind and gentle and has some self-control about his anger? So isn't it wise to start observing his emotions? How does he handle his anger? Does he yell? Break things? Argue? Does he go on a walk, cool off and pray? How about stress? Life is filled with stress. You know that? How do they handle stress? They cry? Do they break things? Do they quarrel? Fight? Argue? Do they complain? Do they blame? This lecture, them and their exams, I'm tired of it. It's all their fault. What? They never mark my stuff properly. How do they handle stress? How about another one here? We can type this one on your paper. How about manipulate? Manipulate. You guys know what manipulate means? Let's put that on your brick, or maybe you can put it over here on your paper. Manipulate. Does the person manipulate? If you don't know what that means, let me give an example. You're with two of your friends. You and another one of your friends, or you guys are hungry. You and one other of your friends decide to go buy some fat cakes to eat. The third person does not want fat cakes. They want to just cook. So you guys talk and you decide, okay, no, let's just go and get the fat cakes. The third person says this, it's fine. You guys never do what I want to do anyway. And on your way walking to get those fat cakes, you even start to cry.
That's not manipulation.
That is a great example of manipulation.
That's not manipulation.
You've been a victim. Now, why is that important? It's very common. I'm sure you're not the only one. Because look how small that was, right? It's just some fat cakes. Is it really that big of a deal? But to that person, they so desire their own way, and you must do what they want. Otherwise, you're going to get a hard time. Now, just imagine that throughout your marriage. If it was that way about food, how about other things? Bigger things. What clothes to wear? What about the money, the way you spend your money? Are they going to let you have any opinion? Or is it all just about them? Because they're selfish and they'll manipulate you to get whatever they want. Do you want to marry someone like that? Or do you want someone who's got a spiritual foundation, who really loves other people, who will sacrifice for you, who will deny their own desires for you because they love you? So there's manipulate. Is that a good example? Let's do another one. You can write this on a brick here. Dramatic. Dramatic. And I'll give you another story of what I mean by dramatic. You greet a person, but you don't smile. That person takes that as, why didn't they smile? They must not like me. What did I do to them? How can they greet me like that? Oh, and even the tone, I didn't like, even the tone. It's clear they don't like me. You know what? I don't like them either. Oh, they are so rude. I never want to see them again. I'm even going to tell my friends how terrible of a person they are. Whoa, whoa, calm down. Isn't that a little extreme? It was just a smile. They didn't smile. And now they never want to see you again, even talking bad about it. Dramatic. Those are things to look for. Please use your logic. Start observing how they interact with other people. Let's fill out some of these other blanks here in the social life. Okay? In the social life. This one here, Matthew, it's forgive. Does the person forgive others? Marriage, if you want to have a long marriage, it's made up of two good forgiveness. Romans 3:20. Let's quote it together. For all have sinned, fall short of the glory of God. You're gonna marry a sinner, and they're gonna hurt you. Can you forgive them? You're gonna sin against them, and you're gonna hurt them. Can they forgive you? Are they already demonstrating forgiveness? At game nights, can they apologize? Oh, sorry. Is there forgiveness? Another one. Can they resolve conflict? You guys are going to have conflicts when you get married, when you're dating. Can you work it out? Can you talk about these things in a loving, patient, kind way? You left the toilet seat up. I would appreciate it if you put it down. Okay, since I love you, I don't know why that bothers you, but because I love you, I will deny myself and I will try to put the toilet seat down. Resolved, right? You know what a common thing people do? They don't talk about things that bother them. So the toilet seat bothers them. And the next day, it bothers them. And the next day. And after a week, if they see that toilet seat down, they're going to freak out. And they see it down. And then they just explode. Whoa! You always leave this. You don't care about me. You are so selfish. You what? And you have no idea because they don't know how to talk about issues that bother them. Movie title? How about this one? How about friends? Their social life and their emotions? Can they keep friends? Do they make friends? Do they get along with a lot of people? Know that once again, our game nights can tell you a lot about this brick. Are they good at working on a team? Can they work together? Or do they manipulate? No, I need to do this my way. But look at their friends. Do they keep friends? Do they make friends? How about this last one? Not just their friends, but also their family. Do they get along with their mother? With their father? It is a big one. You know, I'll give you a piece of advice. Ladies, observe very carefully how your man treats his mother. It's most common how he'll treat you. Watch how a man treats his mother, because that's often how he will treat his wife. And the opposite works the same. Men, watch how your woman, her father, because that's how very commonly she will treat you. Does she respect you? Do they talk? Do they get along? How about their brothers and sisters? You can learn a lot about the person by these things. All right, I just want to conclude. All right, we're running out of time. To observe these things takes time. Do you agree? To observe all of these bricks takes time. And I want to just emphasize this point. Don't awaken love until the time is right. Use your logic, use your reason. Observe these other bricks in their life even before you start dating. God gave us a brain, an intelligence. Start looking to see if they have these bricks even before you start dating, before you start awakening up. Once this person has a lot of bricks in their life, that's going to protect you and protect your marriage, right? Isn't that wise? So I encourage you, don't awaken love until the time is right. Leads to this last brick here: above all else, guard your what? Guard your heart. Here's the verse. Proverbs 23, a great verse to memorize. Guard your heart above what? All else. Guard your emotions. Be careful again. Guard Otherwise, if you don't, you may end up like these divorce statistics, isn't it? You fall in love and you forget about these other bricks. And then you get married and you find out it's just a disaster. So once again, I say this a lot. I encourage you to find a spouse, right? Who will love you, bring you joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Come to Bible study. Come to our games. Come and play with us. Spend time with each other so you can observe to see if the person you're interested in has these bricks in their life. And over the course of your time here at the university, you'll spend 2 or 3 years watching that. You get to know a lot of these bricks, right? Then maybe after you graduate, you get your job, then maybe you go back to that person and be like, you know, I think that person, I should ask that person. I should start pursuing. After you've already observed all these things in your life, right? Is that a wise way to find a good spouse? I think it's wise, but I may be biased. Last thing I'll say, and then if you have any questions, all right? Last thing I'll say, if you want to find this person who will love, good, patient, kind, if you want to find that person, you have to be that person. So are there bricks that you need to be working on in your life? What bricks do you need to work on? Because now is the time to start. Start working on yourself so that when the right person does come along, you're ready. All right. Any questions? All right, we've got some questions. Go ahead.
I have 2 questions.
Great.
The first one, how do I give somebody a face that I'm disrespecting her or him after I walk out, hold her?
Okay, the question is, how do I deal with someone? Because let's say you had a conflict, right?
Yeah.
And now you need to cool down. All right. So how do you work that out? That deals with this one here, these social skills, communication skills. You have to talk about it. And maybe this just said, you just need to say, look, I'm getting angry and I don't want to get angry. I just need to go for a walk and calm down. Then we can continue our conversation. Is that a good way to resolve a conflict and have communication skills? Next question.
What do I do after
What do you do if your boyfriend or girlfriend cheats? My friend, if they cheat, that shows you all kinds of problems in this wall. It shows that they are not faithful. It shows that they don't really love God. It shows that they don't love people. It shows that they're not mature. Maybe they can't control their emotions. They just fell in love with someone just to go and cheat. So there's some problems there. Who was this person? I mean, if it were me, I would run. I would tell you, run from it. You can do so much better. Look, Don't you want this person? If they're already not faithful to you now, just run. Run from it. You deserve much better. Next question. Here we got a chat here. Let's see. What is the name of the YouTube channel? Okay, it's awesome. I'm not sure. Any other questions? Let's find it here. Any other questions? Great. We got a question. Go ahead. Here's the channel. Awesome. Lydia, I think you're the one asking that question. Okay, your question was when you're going through a hard time, how do you know if you're being tested? In the relationship or what? Yeah, great question. So if you're going through a hard time, here's the question. If you're going through a hard time in the relationship, how do you know if you should end the relationship or just work it out? And that's where, if we remember this part of our wall, are they being discipled by someone? And that's a very difficult question to answer. But what I would encourage you to do is get together with someone who's teaching you about the Bible, someone who loves you, and talk to them about the situation. Someone who is wise, someone that you trust. So that way you can work through that situation together. And that way you can get somebody else's logic and intelligence. That was this way. Intelligence. Because you, remember, you are in the relationship. You are emotionally attached. And sometimes it's very helpful to have someone tell you, hey, look, you're not being reasonable. The guy just cheated on you. You gotta run. I know you love the guy, but run. It's not wise. And so it's helpful to have somebody in your life that you can get wisdom and look at your relationship with reality. Or do you have a specific example you'd like to bring up? All right. You got another question? Okay.
How do I deal with somebody who repeats the same mistake?
Okay. Question is, what do you do when they keep repeating the same issue? Now, first of all, did you bring up the issue to them?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you brought it. So that's the first part. You have to bring up the issue. And now if they continue to do it, that's where you need to decide, are they doing it on purpose? Or is it just an accident? Do you observe that they're really trying to repent and trying to change or not? And I think that those questions will help you with that. Now, if they're doing it on purpose, what does that tell you about the person? Do they really love you? Are they really trying to deny themselves for you? Any other questions? Go ahead. Correct? Okay, so the question is, what should you do if you're already awoken? I would just strongly encourage you to get some wisdom into get someone in your life who will love you and help you with your relationship. Someone that you can talk to. And also just start observing these bricks in their life. And start seeing if they really will meet the criteria, that standard of a good spouse. Because even if you're already dating, it's not too late. Keep observing their life. Keep looking for these bricks in their life. But also just be aware that the person will do things just to make you happy. And the hard part you will have is that you want to know if they're doing things because they really love God and love people, or if they're really just doing them just to please you and to keep you in the relationship. Sure.
If you have and you tell us that the person does not have those things that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the question is, if you're already in a relationship, you've awoken that love, but you realize they don't have these bricks, what should you do? I'm just going to ask you at the top of your paper, do you want a person who will love you, bring you joy, peace, patient, be kind to you, good? If you want that person, these are the results or the fruits in their life that will help you have this person. And if they don't have these things, I would encourage you, wait. Or even give that break up and let that person focus on their own growth and their own maturity first. Then maybe later, after they mature, then start the relationship again. Because remember, marriage is for the rest of your life, 50 years. And so just be wise. That's what I would encourage. Right? Does God choose your partner for you? Let's pull up a verse here. 2 Corinthians, is it second or first? I think it's 1 Corinthians 7:39. Yep, there it is. Give you a Bible verse rather than my own answers. So a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives, but if her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes, but he must belong to the Lord. So the only God, he only restricts, only says you just must marry someone who has this foundation in their spiritual life.
Apart
from that, you can marry anyone you want. You can marry anyone you want, as long as they're a believer. And so no, if you get a divorce, don't blame God. You chose to marry that person. And that's why I don't want that to happen to you. I want you guys to be wise. I want to give you all these bricks so that you don't get hurt. I want to help you make a wise choice. Because once you choose to get married, now it's your fault. It's not God's. Great question. Okay, the question was, if they have all these bricks, then what? Well, we all have potential. And that's where we talked about maturity. In a Bible study earlier, we all have potential to be this person. And it's not difficult to be this person. It just takes work. So we all have the potential. The problem is does that person take it seriously? And that's where you have to be wise and figure it out for themselves, for yourself. Because some people, they choose not to be this person, not to be mature, not to work on themselves, which is why there's such a high divorce rate, 50%, 75%. All right, with that, we're out of time. Guys on Zoom, thank you for joining us. We are going to stop here. And yeah, but I think that's enough. We're over our time. I hope you guys are enjoying it. But thanks for joining us on Zoom. And we'll catch up with you guys later.